The gavel slammed down like a judge's verdict, silencing the auditorium packed with 500 hyped-up juniors and seniors. "And that's it, folks, budget approved," Gabriel announced from the stage, his voice steady as steel, but I caught the flicker in his eyes, that split-second crack in the perfect facade. That's when our gazes locked across the sea of cheering faces, and in that heartbeat, I knew. The golden boy of Elmwood High was drowning, and somehow, I was the only one who saw the ripples. It started with a stupid art project, the kind that sounds harmless until it upends your entire goddamn world. I was Finn Harper, the quiet kid in the back of AP Lit, sketching dystopian cityscapes during lectures because reality in our sleepy Ohio town felt too flat to bother with. Elmwood High was the heartbeat of Milford, population 12,000, cornfields on one side, a rusting steel mill on the other, and everyone pretending the American dream hadn't skipped town a decade ago. I kept my head down, especially after Dad's shifts at the mill turned him into a ghost who only spoke in grunts, and Mom's night classes at the community college left the house echoing with microwave beeps. Being gay, that was my secret graffiti on the margins of notebooks, hidden under layers of flannel and sarcasm. Gabriel Reyes was the opposite. Student council president, quarterback whisperer, the guy who could charm the principal into approving a mental health day and make it sound like policy reform. With his sharp jawline, easy grin, and that effortless command of any room, he was Milford's export-ready poster child. Destined for Yale, a corner office, and a life where dreams didn't curdle into debt. We weren't supposed to cross paths, ever. But Miss Hargrove, our lit teacher with a vendetta against siloed creativity, paired us for the semester's big assignment, a multimedia response to The Great Gatsby, exploring the illusion of the American dream in modern suburbia. Our first meeting was in the library after school, rain pattering against the tall windows like impatient fingers. I slouched into the booth, sketchpad under my arm, expecting him to bail with some excuse about practice or a rally. Instead, he slid in across from me, tie loosened, sleeves rolled up, looking less like a prez and more like a guy who'd just run a marathon in wingtips. Finn Harper, right? The one who draws those killer murals in the art wing. His voice was warm, like fresh coffee on a February morning, and his brown eyes held mine without flinching. No pity, no agenda, just curiosity. "Yeah, that's me. The wall scribbler." I flipped open my pad, showing him a rough of Gatsby's Green Light reimagined as a flickering LED billboard over a foreclosed strip mall. He leaned in, tracing the lines with his finger, and for the first time in forever, I didn't feel like I had to explain myself. We dove in headfirst. Mornings turned into stolen afternoons in the AV room, where he'd narrate voiceovers about hollow victories while I layered in visuals of rusted pickup trucks and faded, help-wanted signs. Gabriel opened up in fragments. His parents' divorce when he was 10, the pressure of being the fixed son who aced everything to keep the family afloat. "It's like I'm always performing," he admitted one evening, the projector humming as we edited footage of Milford's annual 4th of July parade, fireworks masking the empty Main Street shops. One slip and poof, the dream evaporates. I nodded, my throat tight. "Tell me about it." "Mine's more like a nightmare you can't wake from." That's when I let slip about the notes in my locker. Freak, scrawled in Sharpie, courtesy of Jake Harlan and his jock brigade. They weren't random. Jake had cornered me last year at a party, drunk and aggressive, after catching me staring too long at the wrong guy. I'd shoved him off, but the whispers stuck like gum on a hot sidewalk. Gabriel's face darkened, his hand brushing mine as he paused the playback. "That's bullshit. You're real Finn. In a world full of fakes." The air thickened, charged like the storm outside. Our fingers lingered, and when he didn't pull away, something inside me cracked open. A fragile hope I'd buried under layers of doubt. From there, it snowballed. Secret texts at midnight. "Can't sleep. Thinking about that line you said about light bending toward the broken." Coffee runs to the diner's neon glow, where we'd talk for hours about everything and nothing. Springsteen's Rust Belt anthems, the ache of unspoken truths. He called me his quiet revolution. And I started seeing him not as the untouchable prez, but as Gabe, the boy who laughed too loud at my dumb jokes, who traced constellations on my palm during study hall when no one was looking. Falling for him was inevitable, like gravity pulling rust from a bridge. Our first kiss happened in the school's rooftop access, a forbidden spot I'd found for sketching sunsets. We'd snuck up after a late council meeting, the October chill biting through our hoodies. He cupped my face, hesitant at first, then fierce, like he'd been starving for this. "Finn," he whispered against my lips. "You make me want to burn it all down." It was messy, urgent, teeth clashing, breaths ragged, but it felt like coming home. In that moment, under the Midwestern stars smeared with mill smoke, I believed we could rewrite the rules. But Milford doesn't do revolutions. It simmers, then boils over. The conflict hit like a freight train during homecoming week. Jake and his crew had been ramping up, shoulder checks in the halls, accidental spills in the cafeteria. I brushed it off, not wanting to drag Gabe into my mess. He had elections to win, a scholarship speech to nail. But one night, after a bonfire rally where Gabe shone like a beacon, Jake cornered me behind the bleachers. "Heard you're cozy with the king," he sneered, shoving me against the chain-link fence. "What, you think a pretty boy like Reyes swings that way? You're delusional, queerbait." I swung back, wild, fueled by fear and fury, but he was bigger, meaner. His fist connected with my ribs, then my cheek, the world blurring into wet grass and copper taste. "Stay away from him, or I'll make sure everyone knows what a pervert you are." He spat the words like venom, and as he stalked off, I curled up, wondering if this was the dream's punchline. Love as the ultimate setup. Gabe found me there, his flashlight beam cutting through the dark like judgment. "Finn? Jesus Christ." He dropped to his knees, hands gentle on my swelling face, horror etching lines I'd never seen on him. "Who did this?" I shook my head, blood flecking his sleeve. "Doesn't matter. Just go. Before they see you with me." He pulled me close instead, his body a shield against the night. "Like hell. This ends now." That was the spark. The next day, he dragged me to the principal's office, his voice ablade. "Jake Harlan assaulted a student. Witnesses saw it. We're not sweeping this under the rug." The school erupted, whispers turning to shouts, justice for Finn trending on the local Snapchat circuit. Gabe stood front and center at assembly, his speech not about budgets or dances, but about the cracks in our so-called dream. We're all chasing lights on docks, but what if the real illusion is thinking silence fixes anything? Bullying isn't a phase, it's a failure. And I'm done failing you. It was electric, the auditorium hanging on his every word. Pride swelled in my chest, hot and unfamiliar. But betrayal lurks in the shadows of spotlights. Turns out Jake wasn't working alone. My so-called best friend, Tyler, lanky, loyal Tyler who'd shared my comics and late-night vents, had been feeding him intel. Jealousy, maybe, or his own buried insecurities bubbling up. He'd seen us once, slipping out of the AV room hand in hand, and instead of asking, he'd twisted it into ammo. "I thought you were better than this," Gabe said when Tyler confessed in the empty gym, his voice breaking like glass. "We trusted you." Tyler crumpled, tears carving tracks through his freckles. "I didn't mean, Gabe, you're like a brother. And Finn, it just felt wrong. Like I was losing you both." The rawness hit hard. Not malice, but fear, the kind that poisons from the inside. Gabe turned away, shoulders rigid, while I stood frozen, the sting of betrayal sharper than any bruise. How do you forgive when the knife's still warm from your hand? The climax crashed down that same weekend, at the Harvest Festival on the town square, booths hawking funnel cakes and Vote Reyes buttons under strings of chili pepper lights. Jake, suspended but seething, rallied a few stragglers for a prank, egging Gabe's truck while he was on stage accepting an award. I spotted them first, hearts pounding as I sprinted across the gravel lot. "Stop!" But eggshells exploded against the hood, and Jake whirled, eyes wild. "Harper, you little..." He lunged, and that's when Gabe vaulted off the stage, microphone screeching feedback as he barreled into the fray. Fists flew, Jake's connecting with Gabe's jaw, mine grazing his arm in a desperate block. The crowd surged, phones out, capturing the chaos. Milford's Prince brawling in the dirt for the nobody artist. Sirens wailed in the distance, but before cops hauled us apart, Gabe pinned Jake down, not with rage, but words. "This isn't strength, this is scared. And I'm done being scared because of assholes like you." In the aftermath, Under the fluorescent buzz of the ER waiting room, the world narrowed to us. My ribs taped, Gabe's lips split. We sat thigh to thigh on plastic chairs that smelled of bleach and regret. "I almost lost you tonight," he murmured, head on my shoulder. Because I was too chicken shit to shout it from the rooftops sooner. I tilted his chin up, thumb brushing the bruise blooming purple. "You didn't lose me, but what now?" Milford's not exactly waving rainbow flags. He smiled, faint but real. "Then we start small. One truth at a time. The betrayal with Tyler lingered like a bruise, but we talk it out later, over bad diner pie, maybe hashing the mess of friendship and forgiveness." Turns out, Tyler showed up the next day, note in hand. "I'm sorry. For everything. Let me make it right." It wasn't absolution overnight, but a crack in the door, humanistic in its imperfection. People fumbling toward better, not perfection. Months blurred into spring thaw. Gabe's speech went viral locally, sparking a GSA club that met in the art room. Walls now alive with murals of bent lights and mended fences. We graduated under cherry blossoms heavy with promise, me with a portfolio scholarship to RISD. Him headed to Ohio State on a poli-sci ride. Our goodbye wasn't a tearjerker. It was a pact, sealed with a kiss in the mill's shadow, whispers of visits and video calls bridging the miles. Looking back, that unexpected connection didn't just change everything. It revealed what was already there. Love as the ultimate rebellion, not against the world, but for it. In the heart of America's forgotten corners, where dreams flicker like faulty bulbs, Gabe taught me that the green light isn't across the bay. It's in the hand you hold, steady through the storm. And damn if that doesn't make the fight worth every scar.